And I am back with another interview. This time I am here at Bangalore at the Lalit Ashok Hotel, wherein the cloud conference is going on. There's a lot of talks happening on what is cloud computing, what is big data analytics, and herein a lot of panel discussions happen, a lot of speeches happen. I have with me one of the panelists who was a panelist in one of the panel discussions out here. This person is executive committee member at Cloud Computing Innovation Council of India. Now this person has 22 plus years of experience in India and USA with proven success in creating technology products that meet business imperatives, managing key clients and vendors worldwide, and building leading, guiding cross-functional teams. His technical expertise includes virtualization, cloud computing, IPsec, data center, service provider networks, VPN, and TCP/IP. He is one and only Magesh Parthasarthy. Hello Magesh sir, welcome to my show.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. How are you?
Very good, and I hope this will be a very conducive session.
Yeah. So now, sir, I want to ask you that what is cloud computing all about? If you want to explain it to a layman in layman's term, how would you explain it to someone?
Sure. So, cloud computing is something where the industry folks who are already experienced, right, they want to relieve the financial hurdles for the end user. Okay, let's say like you are an end user. If you want to use any Microsoft application, let's say I'm a very basic application like a Word, right? Then you have to have Microsoft Word in your system. Or let's say Excel, you have to install Microsoft Excel on your system. But instead of that, what this cloud computing providers, they call it as, what they do is they try to have all this Microsoft Office installed on the servers, and then you just need to access the website, and then the whole Word document is on your system. So you no need to basically spend money and buy Word or Microsoft Office packages, right? So this is a big cost saving. So when as an industry, right, where there are like 1 lakh users and things like that, it is going to be a huge cost saving, automation, so many things are all saved. And similarly, this is, so in cloud computing we have like different services which we will talk later. This is a simple application, this is called software as a service. Similarly, let's say you want to host a website, right? How would you do that? Generally you have to have a server, then you have to write a web server code, you have to have a database, all those things you have to buy. But instead of that, if you approach this cloud service provider and then say, boss, I need this much RAM, I need this much CPU, I need this much processor capacity, and if you give all your specific requirements, the cloud provider would provide you with the platform, and then you can start hosting your website on the platform. So this is called as platform as a service, right? So in this way, the cloud providers provide software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service. So this is going to be beneficial to all the users who are using it. So it's a wonderful this thing that is innovation that is happening.
Okay. So this cloud disruption that is happening, since when did it start? From which year?
So it has been there all the way when telecom, it's all innovations are happening. But if you see, the network also has to be fast, right? So if everybody is going to use Microsoft Excel or Microsoft kind of application, the amount of packets that is going to be transferred between the end user and the server is going to be tremendous. And if 1 million users are going to use, see the amount of traffic that is going to be there. And if there is going to be that much amount of traffic, you are as an end user, you should not feel that your application gets stuck, right? Sometimes you see, let's say YouTube application, you are watching picture, you may see that it gets stopped and then plays, right? That is a very bad user experience. You will not like that. Absolutely. Why I am not seeing it continuously? Why it gets stopped? You will feel that. This is because of the problem in the network. Okay, it's called congestion problem. So the network provider should be able to address all those bottlenecks, and so the end user should be to help the end user to have a very good performance on whatever they are using. So cloud computing has evolved all along the technology, and it has been happening. For example, initially it was 1 gigabit Ethernet at the hardware level, then it became 10 gigabit, then it became 40 gigabit, then there is 100 gigabit now. So then there is optical communication. There is again innovations in optical communication, routing, switching, etc. So there are like FTTH network, like if you are a residential customer. Then there are like transport network. So there are like different kinds of telecom networks that are there, and the speed has been increasing every day. Okay, like every 5 to 10 years, the speed of the network also increases. The CPU capacity, the processor capacity, that's the how fast the CPUs are, how much memory you can store, the memory capacity, the storage capacity, how much you can store in your hard disk. All these things are increasing like every 5 years once. Innovations are happening, and the price of the thing are also going down, right? So that is how cloud computing has evolved.
Okay. So that's why, is that the reason that the computer that I was using 4 years back, or the mobile phone that I was using 4 years back, is something that I need to replace right now?
Correct,
It's very
exactly.
slow.
See, yeah, if you are going to take your 4 years back your mobile phone and then want to use today, the applications what you are running on will not be able to run on the old system, because the processor, the memory, the all the storage, everything were all lesser in size. But now everything has become more. They become faster. You can store more, so you are able to use everything faster. And maybe another 10 years down the lane, probably you might have like very handle size. Even your mobile becomes shrink. You see your mobile, right? It is getting smaller and smaller. So yeah, so those are all like advances in technology, with the advances in electronic circuits, with advances in operating system, and so forth.
So what is this organization with which you are working? Cloud Computing Innovation Council of India. Would you like to tell us something?
Sure. Cloud Computing Innovation Council of India, it is a technology advisory forum which comprises of all the academia's standards bodies, corporate CTO, CXO people, architects, directors, managers, and similarly it is headed by one Mr. Krish Gopalakrishnan, who is the former co-founder and vice chairman at Infosys. He is the president for this. And then there is Pamila Kumar, who is the VP and chair for Cloud Computing Innovation Council of India. Under our CCICI, we have different working groups and task forces focusing on cloud computing, big data, analytics, IoT, interoperability of cloud computing, and so forth. Right? So we have various working groups under that. And so we become advisory to the governments, both Indian government and governments across the globe, how we could implement a technology solution. From a technology perspective, we are non-profit body, and we provide technology advisory role to all the governments.
Okay, so does that mean that you work with Government of India and tell them?
Exactly. For example, in India we have CDAC, we have Ministry of Information and Communication Technology, MeitY, then there is DeITY, Department of Electronics Information Technology. These are various groups who are also member in our group.
Okay.
And so we are also advising them as well how we have to go about implementing cloud and IoT in India.
And what about big data? What is it?
Okay, so big data with cloud, what happens is, you see the amount of data that is flowing on the internet is tremendous, right? Are you using Facebook, or
Yes.
are you using LinkedIn?
Yes.
So what is that you are using?
I am using Facebook, LinkedIn,
Oh, you are there.
Twitter,
already.
Instagram.
Very good, very good. So those are all called social media networking sites, right? So like you, there are like billions of people across the year who are using it.
Yes.
So the amount of data that gets generated with everybody using, right? It is in they call it as petabytes, terabytes, or zettabytes, etc. Okay. So petabyte is the highest amount. So what happens is, these are all like raw data, okay, and somebody has to get intelligence out of the raw data. Okay, let's say like you are shopping online. Okay, you use Amazon to shop, let's say,
Yes.
or Flipkart to shop.
Yeah.
So then the Flipkart or Amazon user, what he does is he uses analytics.
Yeah.
He sees all your buying patterns, what all you are reading on the websites, what all you are searching on the websites. There are plenty of things, right? Oh, you can buy books, you can buy CDs, you can buy dress, and you can buy food. What? Yeah, everything can be done. So they understand your taste. These are all data, right? And what analytics does is they try to get intelligence from your search, from this data, and then they advise you, boss, out of this kind of music CD, this is the best. Out of all these books you are searching, these are the books which will be relevant to you. Out of all this kind of food you are trying to eat, these are the books. Out of all this kind of bags or shirts you are trying to buy, these are all the best quality. They will give you something without your knowledge. Then if you are interested in the domain, right, you will immediately go and select and then try to buy it. So this is called intelligent or information.
Okay.
First is raw data. The raw data is converted into intelligence and provided that back. So this is what that analytics software does.
So is it like technology is trying to help you rather than you
Exactly,
creating a
exactly.
code?
See, now you have millions of books.
Yes.
But let's say you talk about you want to read some management leadership books, but there are millions of books outside. How would you know which is book? So these guys will, depending on your pattern, they understand your taste and then provide you suggestions.
Okay.
So this is the insight, or this is called business insight. See, for example, let's say a company is there. They were making profit, loss, etc. in the past. Last 20 years, let's say it is existing. So for the upcoming year, how much, what they will do, or if they want to do profit, what they can do, you can suggest with big data. So it will do your analytics and then it will provide that information to you.
Okay.
Similarly, another application is, let's say, traffic jam. Okay, there is this much traffic here in this part of the city, that information is going on. Then with that, the software can tell you, boss, at this time in this street there will be congestion or there will be free traffic. You take another route where there is free, it will advise you. So that is traffic. Similarly, weather forecasting. No, similarly healthcare. Because you will get heart attack, this thing is like this, or you already have a heart attack. Try to reduce your food intake, or that kind. Depending on your pattern, whatever you are using, this tries to collect those data, big data analytics, and then advise you for good and best in the future.
And I also want to ask you, sir, I heard a lot of this buzzword in this conference today, bots. So,
Bots, okay.
So why are companies developing bots and what are they used for? What is it?
Usually bots are like for security thing. Okay, if somebody wants to control you without your knowledge, they install bots on your machine and then they can monitor you. So bots can be useful for good and bad. If they want to, if it is for bad purpose, right, I don't like you, I can put bot on your system and then I can attack you. I can do cyber attack. I will connect your bot, make your system reboot. Then you will not be able to browse at all. That is good. That is for bad. Similarly, they can do bot for good. In the sense, let's say somebody is doing some fraud. The cyber crime can put bot onto the system and try to see what he is doing, what all he is doing, get all those data from him without his knowledge. That is for good purpose. Right? So that is the purpose of bot.
Purpose of bot.
So the thing is, let's say I am the hacker. I put bot onto your system. I am initiating attack on US White House or Pradhan Mantri website. Okay. Then for those fellows, they will not know I am the guy who is initiating. Your IP address will display on their website. So they will try to see who is this guy who is opening this much connections. Only when they investigate, they connect to your system and then investigate, then they will know, boss, he is not the guy, there is some other guy who is doing that. But I am smart enough that I will not get caught.
Okay, so it's like the person disguises as some other person and attacks the target.
Yeah.
Okay,
so like that, all your bank information details, if you are doing banking, right, cyber banking, online banking, they collect all those details, do all kinds of nasty things. So this is used by hackers.
Okay. Now the thing is, when we are talking a lot about cloud, when you're hosting a lot of services and websites on cloud, how is security impacted? Because some people, they are very much afraid of putting even their photo on the internet.
Exactly, exactly. So that is called identity management. That is, those are all true. Those are all security issues still there. You know, that is where some standards are there. They say compliance are there. They try to do that. So it is still
Existing.
it is still existing. But the thing is, you have to be careful,
Okay.
right? If you are the guy who is using your username password, and suddenly you are using your bank account, you have got $10 million in your account, and suddenly you give that to your kid, and your kid gives to his friend, and his friend's papa takes that, and then let me try. If he says no, what happens? He will take your money from your account.
Okay.
But the bank guy doesn't know that he has taken. He will think you have the username password, so you have taken. But in fact, you have not taken,
Oh,
right?
yes.
But the bank guy will not know. In your, he is the guy who is using your password and username and password, and he has taken. Rather, he will think you are the guy who has taken.
Oh,
But for you to prove it is going to be difficult,
okay.
right?
That's
So
why
then
it's
you have to fight and then get. So their security is such a big issue.
big issue. I want to ask you that okay, it's a very basic question, but let's say I'm not connected to internet and my laptop has a lot of data in it. Okay, or maybe my mobile phone, I don't use 3G, 2G, and I'm offline basically on the data, but I have a lot of data. Is there a way that a hacker can get my
No,
data?
only when you are connected, no, that is the only time he
Okay.
can, your data can be compromised.
Okay. If you're offline, then there's
If you are
no.
offline, nothing. But he can put some software, it will do some connections on your system.
Okay.
Okay. The moment you connect your system to online, even for 1 minute, the software which collected your whole thing, it will send
Transfer
to
it.
the send it to the other guy.
Okay, so I'm sure that a lot of research must be going on as far as security is
Yeah,
concerned.
exactly. It's a huge volume, billion dollar business.
Oh, okay.
It's a very huge business, and as you know, nobody is aware, right? Kids doesn't know. See, now pornographic is there. So many things are there, right? Money laundering is there. So many good and bad things are there. So for that, security, they call it as rootkit. They call it as hypervisor. They call it lot of hacks are there. So they try to do and steal your information.
So, sir, just give us some tips for all our users that what we should do as users to secure our data or to stay
Okay,
secure.
one more thing I want to say is you have your BIOS, all your computer, right?
Yeah.
So there is something called a BIOS ROM.
Okay.
There is an operating system, but when the system comes up, you see something on your screen,
Yeah.
right? Some messages coming on
Yes,
the screen
yes.
before your whole screen
boot
operating
on.
system comes up,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So that is called the software running from the BIOS. Okay. The hacker can go into your BIOS and change your date, your whole system settings also. And he can put virus into the BIOS so that the boot record, it is called as, when your system comes up, always the hacker can run the software
Oh God.
like hypervisor. Okay, it's called hypervisor or rootkit. So all those technologies are there. So now security professionals are trying to tackle all those. That is why virtualization, which is a new technology that has come in, how to handle all those hackers. Then there is software defined networks. That is another technology that has come in, how to tackle hackers. So with the security breaches, the technology are also evolving. Virtualization, software defined network, software defined data center, and so forth.
So, as a basic thing, what we should do to ensure that we are secure.
So you have to put your antivirus off. If you are end user, see the security is like all the way, right? As a home user, you have to have secure. Then your modem is there, that should be secure. Then there is a network between your system and the actual server. The service provider, Airtel or Reliance, or if you are in India, it has to make sure security is there. You know? So security is from all perspective, not only from your home. If you are at home, probably you can put your security software, antivirus software, Norton or K7 or Kaspersky or Checkpoint, anything, no? Like you can install on that. That is one way to secure a PC. Then there is malware security. That is another thing that will discover your rootkit, etc. Okay, bots and all. That is malware software security is there. Then in India there is a CERT. They have some tool or utility which you have to run periodically. Okay, so it's a government this thing. They have something called quick heal software, which used to clear all the bots and things like that, rootkits, malware and all. So those are some of the things you have to take. If you go to the search certificate, cert.org website, they will give you like what all you have to do to make sure you don't.
Secure.
Yeah.
Is it free?
Yes, it's free. It's government
Okay.
trying to help the people.
Okay, I think it's a very useful information for all the viewers that they should visit cert.org and at least get some immunization, so to
Exactly.
say, for the and get their computers and devices secured. So, sir, it was wonderful talking to you. We got a lot of information on cloud computing, on big data, and about hackers and bots. So, thank you for this interview.
See, one more thing is in US we have FBI, right?
Oh, yes.
Those guys, they try to close their, you have webcam in their computer, right?
Yes.
They try to shut it off with some stickers
Okay.
because they don't know the hackers can log in and then turn on your webcam without you turning it on.
Absolutely.
Okay, and then they can monitor what you are doing.
Yes.
So all those hacks are possible.
Yeah. So one has to be very, very careful in this virtual world.
Sure.
There are many good points, but there is a dark side to it
Exactly,
also.
exactly.
So thank you for educating us, sir.
Uh-huh.
And it was a great interviewing you.
Fantastic. Nice talking to you.
Okay,
Thank
this is
you.
Shruti. Thank you. I'll see you soon.